During our couples therapy session, my fiancée said, "I've been unhappy for years. I'm only here because my parents paid for the wedding already." The therapist looked shocked. I stood up. "Then let me make this easy." I called her parents right there on speaker and offered to reimburse every penny. Her mother's response was, "I, 29 male, have always approached life like a blueprint. As a structural engineer, I've been with my fiancée since she was an intern at my firm. We were 6 weeks away from a wedding that looked less like a celebration and more like a coronation. Her parents are old money, or at least they act like it. They care about optics, country clubs, and headlines. I come from a blue-collar background. I work for everything I have, including my own firm. We were in couples therapy because the wedding planning had turned her into someone I didn't recognize. She was cold, distant, and constantly snapping at me. I thought it was just stress. I was wrong. We were 20 minutes into the session. Dr. Evans, a soft-spoken woman in her 50s, asked a simple question. "Why do you want to marry him?" My fiancée didn't look at me. She picked at a loose thread on the sofa. There was a pause that lasted too long. It wasn't a pause of contemplation. It was a pause of boredom. "I don't know," she said, her voice flat. "I've been unhappy for years. I think I fell out of love around the time we moved in together. He's just practical, boring." I froze. I didn't gasp. I didn't cry. I just sat there, processing the data. Years. I asked, my voice steady, "Then why are we doing this? Why the wedding?" She finally looked at me, and her eyes were dead. "Because my parents already paid for the wedding, okay? The venue, the catering, the florist. It's like 80 grand. I can't just tell them I wasted their money. I'm only here because they paid for it." Dr. Evans looked shocked. She actually stopped taking notes and looked over her glasses. "You're entering a marriage to avoid a debt?" "It's not just a debt," she snapped. "It's their reputation. If I cancel now, they'll kill me." The silence in the room was heavy. I felt a cold clarity wash over me. The woman I loved was essentially holding me hostage over a catering bill. I stood up. "Sit down," Dr. Evans said gently. "No," I said. I pulled my phone out of my pocket. "She says she's trapped by the money. So let's remove the trap." My fiancée's eyes went wide. "What are you doing?" "I'm calling your mother." "Don't you dare," she hissed, reaching for my arm. I stepped back. I dialed. I put on speaker. It rang twice. "Hello." Her mother's voice was crisp, impatient. "Hi, it's me." I said, "I'm in therapy with your daughter. She just admitted she's been unhappy for years and is only marrying me because you've already paid for the wedding." "You did what?" My fiancée shrieked in the background. "I am offering right now," I continued, cutting her off, "to reimburse you every single penny. I will write you a check today for the full $80,000. The wedding is off." I expected shouting. I expected shock. I expected a mother to be concerned that her daughter was entering a loveless marriage. Instead, there was a sigh, a long, irritated exhale. "Don't be ridiculous," her mother said. The tone wasn't angry, it was dismissive, like I was a child refusing to eat vegetables. "The invitations have already gone out to the senator and the board. Do you have any idea how embarrassing it would be to cancel now?" "Did you hear me?" I asked, looking at my fiancée, whose face had gone pale, not from shame, but from fear of her mother. "She doesn't love me. She's miserable. She'll get over it," her mother said coldly. "Marriage isn't about love. It's about alignment. We have invested significantly in this union, not just a party, but in integrating you into our network. You're going to walk down that aisle. You're going to smile, and you are going to do your duty. If you embarrass us, I will ensure no firm in the state hires you again. Fix this. Goodbye." The line went dead. I looked at my fiancée. She looked vindicated. "See," she said, crossing her arms. "I told you. We have to do it." She actually thought that was a win. She thought her mother's threat was a glue that would hold us together. She thought I was just another asset to be managed. I looked at Dr. Evans. "I think we're done here." "I agree," the therapist whispered. I turned to my fiancée. The wedding is off. I don't care about your mother's threats. I built my firm from the ground up, and I can build it again if I have to, but I am not marrying a parasite. Excuse me. She stood up, her face twisting into a sneer. You can't just leave. We have contracts. We have a lease. It's not a lease, I corrected her. It's a mortgage. My mortgage. I bought the apartment 2 years before I met you. You're just an occupant. I'm your fiancée, she screamed. I have rights. If you leave me, I'll take you for everything. You can try, I said. I walked out of the office. I got to my car, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. I needed to get home, pack her things, and change the locks. But as I drove, my phone started blowing up. Text messages from her mother, from her father. Mother, you are making a mistake. We have leverage. Fiancé, don't you dare go home. I'm calling the police. I frowned. Calling the police? For what? I pulled into my driveway 20 minutes later. There was a police cruiser already there. My fiancée was standing in the driveway, tears streaming down her face, talking to an officer. She pointed at my car as I pulled up. My stomach dropped. This wasn't just a breakup anymore. This was a war. I stepped out of the car, hands visible. Officer, is there a problem? The officer walked over, hand resting near his belt. Sir, this young lady claims you threatened her life and that there are unsecured firearms in the house. I need you to step away from a vehicle. She was playing the victim card, and she was playing it fast. I stared at the officer, my mind racing. That is a lie. I have never threatened her. We just broke up in a therapy session 30 minutes ago. You can call the therapist. He's lying, she wailed, clutching her arm as if I'd grabbed her. He said he'd kill me if I embarrassed his family. He has a gun in the nightstand. I did have a gun, a legally registered handgun, locked in a biometric safe. But the fact that she knew it was there and was weaponizing it made my blood run cold. Sir, for everyone's safety, I need you to leave the premises while we sort this out, the officer said. She has residency here. Until a court says otherwise, or until she feels safe, you need to find somewhere else to stay. This is my house, I said, my voice rising. My name is on the deed. She pays 0 rent. You can't kick me out of my own home based on a lie. I can if there's a credible threat of domestic violence, the officer said sternly. Now go. Before I take you in for disorderly conduct, get a lawyer. I looked at her. She wasn't crying anymore. She was watching me from behind the officer's shoulder, a small, triumphant smirk playing on her lips. She had won the battle for the territory. I got back in my car and drove to a motel. I didn't sleep. I spent the night on my laptop, researching. The next morning, I was in the office of the most aggressive divorce and property attorney in the city. Let's call him Saul. He wasn't cheap, but he looked like a shark in a 3-piece suit. Here's the situation, Saul said, looking over the deed and my bank statements. She's filed for a temporary restraining order, TRO. It's ex parte, meaning she got it without you being there. It grants her exclusive use of the residence for 14 days until the hearing. She's trying to establish tenancy and force a settlement. She wants money, I said. She wants the house, Saul corrected, or a massive payout to leave. Now, tell me about this wedding money. I explained the call, the offer to reimburse, the mother's refusal. Okay, Saul said, we need to verify if her parents actually paid the vendors. If they paid, that's their loss. But if the money passed through her hands, we need to track it. Did you contribute? We have a joint account for household expenses and wedding deposits. I explained. I put in $4,000 a month. She puts in $500. We use that for the deposits. Saul's eyes lit up. Wait, if the money for the wedding came from the joint account, and you contributed 90% of the funds in that account, then her parents didn't pay for the wedding. You did. I paused. She told me her parents wired her $50,000 last year to cover the big stuff. Did you see the wire transfer? No. I trusted her. Big mistake, Saul grunted. We're going to subpoena her bank records. If that money never existed, or she spent it on herself, we have her for fraud. And as for the house, do you have cameras? Just a doorbell and one in the garage. I said, damn. Inside? No. I value privacy. Pity? It's hard to disprove he said, she said, DV claim without video. I slumped in the chair. Then I remembered. Wait, the pet cam? The what? We got a puppy 6 months ago. We set up a camera in the living room to watch him while we were at work. It has a cloud backup. It records motion and audio. Saul grinned. Did she know it was on? She set it up, but she forgets about it because it looks like a smoke detector. Access the cloud. Now, I opened my laptop. I logged into the security app. I scrolled back to yesterday, right after I left the therapy session. The video loaded. It showed her entering the house alone. She wasn't crying. She was on the phone. Mom, he did it. He canceled. She was saying, pacing the living room. No, I'm not leaving. It's a penthouse, Mom. I'm not going back to a studio apartment. She paused, listening. I know. I'll trigger the nuclear option. I'll tell the cops he threatened me. I'll get the TR. That buys us 2 weeks to find a way to get my name on the title or force a payout. She laughed. Don't worry. He's too honorable. He won't fight dirty. I'll strip him dry before he knows what hit him. Then, the most damning part. She walked over to the wall, looked in the mirror, and slapped herself across the face. Hard. Twice. Until her cheek was red. Then she messed up her hair and ripped the sleeve of her blouse. Saul watched the video, then looked at me. She just handed us her head on a platter. What do we do? I asked. We wait for the hearing. Saul said, let her perjure herself. Let her lie to the judge. And then we bury her. But she wasn't done. While I was with Saul, my phone alerted me. Alert. Withdrawal of $22,000 from joint savings. Alert. Credit card limit reached. She was draining the accounts. She was maxing out the cards we shared. Cancel them. Saul ordered. Freeze everything. And don't contact her. Not a word. I froze the accounts. But the damage was done. She had taken every liquid cent I had access to in the immediate term. 2 days later, I got a call from my boss. We received an email, he said, his voice grave, from your fiancée's mother. It implies some serious allegations regarding your conduct, substance abuse, domestic violence. It's a lie. I said immediately, I have proof. I believe you, my boss said, but the board is skittish. We have a government contract pending. If this goes public, we might have to place you on administrative leave. They were attacking my career. The mother's threat wasn't idle. I felt a rage I had never known. This wasn't just a bad breakup. They were trying to dismantle my existence because I refused to be a prop in their social pageant. I called Saul. I want to destroy them. Good, Saul said. I did some digging on the parents. That wealth they have? It's leverage to the hilt. They're cash poor. The wedding was supposed to be a networking event to find new investors for her dad's failing development firm. They needed you and your clean credit/reputation to anchor their drift. It all clicked. The pressure, the investment. I wasn't a son-in-law. I was a co-signer. What's the plan? I asked. The hearing is in 3 days, Saul said. We don't just clear your name. We file a cross-complaint for malicious prosecution, defamation, and fraud. We go after the parents for conspiracy. Do it, I said. The days leading up to the hearing were hell. I was living out of a suitcase. Friends were texting me awkwardly, asking if I was okay in a tone that suggested they'd heard the rumors. She had spun a narrative that I was a controlling monster who snapped under the pressure of the wedding. She posted on social media a photo of her bruised face, makeup were the result of her self-inflicted slap, with the caption, sometimes the people you love hurt you the most. #Survivor. It had 400 likes. Her mother commented, so brave, darling. We are here for you. I wanted to scream. I wanted to post a video right then and there. No, Saul instructed. If you post it, she claims you doctored it or she claims privacy violation to get it thrown out. We surprise her in court. Under oath. The morning of the hearing, the courtroom was sterile and cold. She was there with her parents. Her mother wore a Chanel suit that probably cost more than my car. Her father wouldn't look at me. My fiancée, my ex, sat there looking frail. She wore no makeup, highlighting the bruise on her cheek. She sniffled when the judge entered. The judge was a no-nonsense woman who looked like she'd seen it all. This is a hearing regarding the temporary restraining order and exclusive possession of the residence, she announced. Her lawyer stood up. Your Honor, the respondent is a violent man. He threatened my client's life. He has access to firearms. The victim is terrified. We have photos of injuries sustained during his outburst. They submitted the photos. The judge frowned, looking at me. Does the respondent wish to speak? Saul stood up. Your Honor, we vehemently deny these allegations. This is a calculated attempt to secure real estate and financial leverage following a breakup initiated by my client. We have evidence that proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that these injuries were self-inflicted and the accusations are fabricated. The opposing lawyer rolled his eyes. Victim blaming, Your Honor, we would like to submit Exhibit A, Saul said, handing a USB drive to the bailiff. Security footage from the living room, time-stamped 20 minutes after my client left the property. The judge took the drive. Play it. My ex stiffened. She looked at her lawyer, whispering frantically. Her lawyer looked confused. The video played on the monitors. The silence in the courtroom was absolute. We watched her pace. We heard her plotting with her mother on speakerphone. I'll tell the cops he threatened me. I'll strip him dry. Then the slap, the sheer violence of it, the way she checked a mirror to make sure it looked bad enough. Her lawyer's face went gray. He started shuffling papers, looking for an escape route. The judge watched it twice. Then she paused the video on the frame where my ex was smirking at the mirror. The judge slowly took off her glasses. She looked at my ex. The look was withering. Ms. Last name, the judge said, her voice dangerously quiet. Did you file a sworn police report stating that the respondent caused these injuries? My ex was shaking. I was scared. I didn't know what I was saying. You seem to know exactly what you were saying on the phone. The judge snapped. You discussed manipulating the legal system to steal a property you have no claim to. The judge turned to the court reporter. Dismiss the Taro immediately. Order the petitioner to vacate the residence within 24 hours. And bailiff? Please escort the petitioner to the district attorney's office. I am recommending charges for filing a false police report and perjury. Your Honor, her lawyer protested. Sit down, counselor, or I'll hold you in contempt. The judge barked. Then she looked at the parents. And if I find out you were the one on the other end of that phone call, she pointed at the mother, advising her to do this, I will have you indicted for conspiracy. The mother went pale. The arrogant mask finally slipped. Mr., my last name, the judge said to me, you have your home back, and I am granting your request for a forensic accounting of the joint assets. I walked out of that courtroom feeling lighter than I had in years. But I wasn't done. The criminal charges stuck. My ex pleaded down to a misdemeanor to avoid jail time, but she has a permanent record now. The teacher, career she wanted, gone. No school will hire someone with a record of fraud and perjury. But the financial revenge was the sweetest part. The forensic audit revealed everything. The $80,000 for the wedding? Her parents never sent a dime. She had been taking the money I deposited into the joint account, money I thought was for the venue, and funneling it to her personal account to pay off her credit card debt, and get this, lease a luxury car in her name that she kept at her parents' house. We sued her for conversion and fraud. Since she had no money, we went after the parents. It turns out in my state, if you knowingly benefit from funds obtained through fraud, the car she drove to their events, the image they maintained, you can be liable. Plus, Saul found emails where the mother explicitly told her to use his money to keep up appearances. We settled out of court. They had to sell their vacation home in the Hamptons to pay me back the $60,000 she stole, plus my legal fees, plus damages for the defamation that nearly cost me my job. I sent the video of her faking the abuse to the senator who was supposed to come to the wedding. I didn't post it publicly. I just sent it to the people who mattered in their social circle. The reputation they cared about so much, vaporized. They are social pariahs. The last time I saw her was when she came to get her clothes. I had a police escort there at my request. She looked tired. You ruined my life. She spat at me as she dragged a suitcase out. No, I said, leaning against the doorframe of my house. I just refuse to pay for it. It's been 6 months. My firm is doing better than ever. I sold the engagement ring and used the money to take a 3-week motorcycle trip across Patagonia. I learned that love isn't enough if the person you love views you as a resource rather than a partner.